questions. You think you know how the Colosseum was built? Stone by stone, arch by arch, with simple ancient tools.
Behind the beauty of arches and symmetry lies an invisible machine of labor, logistics, and control.
Once stable soil was reached, Roman engineers faced the next challenge: how to distribute the immense weight of the amphitheater.
But the Colosseum was never just about engineering. It was built with a purpose far greater than entertainment.
To turn this political vision into stone.
Despite extensive study, modern engineers cannot fully reproduce Roman concrete at an industrial scale.
Now, the foundation was also designed with foresight that extended far beyond the visible building. Beneath
The first phase of construction did not involve stone, arches, or visible grandeur. It began with destruction. Even after Nero's lake was drained, water remained a relentless enemy. Groundwater continued to seep into.
The strength of Roman concrete did not come from lime alone. Its true power lay in volcanic ash.
Roman concrete was never used uniformly. Engineers carefully adjusted its composition depending on the structural dimension. At the heart of the Colosseum's endurance lies a material the Romans called opus caementicium, a form of concrete.
The travertine used for the Colosseum was quarried far from Rome, in the hills.
To secure them, Roman builders inserted iron clamps into carved channels between adjacent blocks.
Antonym. Unskilled labor alone could not build a structure of such complexity. The true backbone of the project was the Roman
lifting multi-ton blocks to heights approaching 50 meters. Roman engineers solved this with sophisticated wooden cranes powered by human labor. Transporting these massive stone blocks over a distance of more than 30 kilometers posed one of the greatest logistical challenges of the entire project. The scale of the project demanded absolute coordination. The construction site was divided into sectors, each responsible.
Evidence suggests that construction progressed almost continuously.
While concrete formed the internal body of the Colosseum, its visible strength and monumental appearance.
Master stonemasons cut travertine blocks with extraordinary accuracy, ensuring perfect alignment across.
The Colosseum was not built by inspiration alone. It was built people, tens of thousands of them.
At the core of the Colosseum's structure lies the most powerful invention of Roman architecture, the arch. Barrel vaults formed long passageways, while groin vaults covered square spaces where corridors intersected.
The open arcades of the Colosseum served more than structural purposes. They allowed light and air to penetrate.
Legends. The brilliance of the Colosseum's circulation system lay in its integration with the structural framework.
Entry into the Colosseum was regulated by a ticketing system that matched architecture with social order.
The same architectural system that held the building together also controlled human movement. Corridors.
Pull harder, men! Hoist the cage! We must be ready for the Emperor!
Moving tens of thousands of people into and out of a massive structure was not a secondary concern for Roman engineers. It was a central design problem.
Equally important were skills that no longer survive in full. Roman stonemasons could cut multi-ton blocks.
The Colosseum was constructed with a fundamentally different understanding of time. Roman engineers did not design for decades.
The podium transformed political hierarchy into physical reality. Power was not abstract.
What spectators saw from their marble seats was only half of the Colosseum's machinery. Beneath the...
Secure the mainstay! All together now, heave! Hold fast, men!
Inside the Colosseum, seating was not arranged for comfort or convenience alone. It was arranged to...
The Romans called the main access corridors vomitoria. The name was literal. These wide passageways were...
At the top of the structure lay the Summa Cavea, the least prestigious and most distant seating area.
Century. To understand the Colosseum fully, one must look beyond techniques and materials and examine the Roman engineering.
Behind the podium rose the Ima Cavea, reserved for the equestrian order.
One of the least visible yet most powerful aspects of the Colosseum construction was standardization.
The forces acting on the Valerium were immense. To counter them, Roman engineers extended
The materials used in the Colosseum were extracted and consumed with little regard for depletion. Entire quarries were devoted to a single project.
The Colosseum was engineered to endure damage without collapse. This resilience came from redundancy.
The Hypogeum also had its own logistical systems. Long central corridors ran beneath the arena. The Colosseum reveals what the Roman world valued above all else: order, control, permanence, and visibility of power.
The Valerium was more than an engineering achievement. It was a statement of power, providing shade to...
This canopy system was known as the Valerium. It consisted of enormous fabric panels stretched over the...
These platforms were operated by teams of workers using ropes, pulleys, and winches. At the right moment,
Another decisive factor was labor. The Roman state possessed the ability to mobilize human effort on a scale.
A structure capable of holding tens of thousands of people for hours created a problem as serious as any engineering challenge.
The Colosseum cannot be separated from the civilization that created it.
Long after spectacles ceased and crowds vanished, the Colosseum remained. Its function changed.
The existence of the Hypogeum reveals the true nature of the Colosseum. It was not...
What spectators saw from their marble seats was only half of the Colosseum's machinery. Beneath the...
Pull harder, men! Hoist the cage! We must be ready for the Emperor!
these platforms were operated by teams of workers using ropes, pulleys, and winches. At the right moment,
the Hypogeum also had its own logistical systems. Long central corridors ran beneath the arena. A structure capable of holding tens of thousands of people for hours created a problem as serious as any engineering challenge.
This canopy system was known as the Valerium. It consisted of enormous fabric panels stretched over the...
Secure the mainstay! All together now, heave! Hold fast, men!
The forces acting on the Valerium were immense. To counter them, Roman engineers extended the system.
The Valerium was more than an engineering achievement. It was a statement of power, providing shade to...
Elaine. The Colosseum was constructed with a fundamentally different understanding of time. Roman engineers did not design for decades.
Another decisive factor was labor. The Roman state possessed the ability to mobilize human effort on a scale.
The materials used in the Colosseum were extracted and consumed with little regard for depletion. Entire quarries were devoted to a single project.
Equally important were skills that no longer survive in full. Roman stonemasons could cut multi-ton blocks. The Colosseum cannot be separated from the civilization that created it.
Century. To understand the Colosseum fully, one must look beyond techniques and materials and examine the Roman engineering. One of the least visible yet most powerful aspects of the Colosseum construction was standardization.
The Colosseum was engineered to endure damage without collapse. This resilience came from redundancy. Long after spectacles ceased and crowds vanished, the Colosseum remained. Its function changed.
The Colosseum reveals what the Roman world valued above all else: order, control, permanence, and visibility of power.
Visibility. The Colosseum matters not because it is ancient, but because it exposes assumptions about progress.
It forfeits. Above all, the Colosseum was a mirror of Roman power. It displayed the state's ability to command land.
The original purpose of the Colosseum has long vanished. The spectacles ended. The empire collapsed.
The Colosseum stand today not as a mystery to be solved, but as a statement to be understood. The Colosseum was not built as a passive object. It was designed to act. Its walls channel.
They learned through repetition, observation, and failure across generations. Each arch built elsewhere refined the Colosseum compresses the Roman world into a single structure. Empire-wide logistics.
The Colosseum stands because it was never designed to fail gracefully. It was designed to resist failure entirely. Its
installations. The Colosseum offers a final lesson that extends beyond architecture. It shows what is possible when a civilization fissures. Although often praised for its aesthetics, the Colosseum was never designed to be beautiful in a decorative sense.
One of the most striking aspects of the Colosseum is the silence surrounding those who built it. No signatures were carved in citizens.
Most buildings are judged by how they perform within a human lifetime. The Colosseum was judged by how it performed against time.
Beat this zone. The Colosseum was never meant to end. Its builders did not conceive of a moment when it would become obsolete.
When the spectacles ended, the structure did not lose relevance. Its endurance revealed a fundamental.
Roman construction did not negotiate with limitation. When a solution demanded more labor, more stone, the ultimate lesson of this structure lies in a principle the Romans understood instinctively. Permanence requires sacrifice.
Within its walls, the amphitheater condensed the structure of Roman urban life. Hierarchy, movement,
ligers. The Romans understood a principle that modern construction often avoids. Mass creates stability. Ultimately, the amphitheater represents a Roman answer to time itself. Time was not an enemy to be outpaced. Roman engineers designed for tolerance. Arches shared loads. Vaults redistributed pressure.
Over centuries, the amphitheater absorbed layers of history without losing coherence.
The Romans did not build the amphitheater to impress a single generation. They built it to resist forgetting. In a world,
many structures vanish when their function ends. The amphitheater did not. It remained present even when unused.
The amphitheater also teaches through what it lost. Collapsed sections, missing stone, and fractured.
The amphitheater challenges modern observers because it exposes limits we prefer to ignore.
As long as the amphitheater stands, it continues to speak. Not loudly, not.
The amphitheater redefined what scale meant in Roman construction. It was not merely large, it was comprehensively. Time was treated as a material during construction. Roman engineers assumed centuries of exposure, neglect, and alteration. What makes the amphitheater so resilient is not complexity, but repetition. Arches repeat. In the end, the amphitheater preserved more than events or spectacles. It preserved a way of thinking.
The amphitheater did not ask citizens to believe in Roman authority. It surrounded them with it.
Every decision embedded in the amphitheater reveals deliberate intention rather than chance. Nothing about its form is accidental.
The amphitheater teaches without instruction. No manual explains its logic, yet let it be read.
Nutrients. Modern comparisons often focus on technology, but they miss the deeper difference. The Romans built within a system.
The strongest argument for Roman engineering is not theory but survival. The amphitheater has endured forces that destroy.
Roman construction operated under an economy of certainty rather than efficiency. Costs were secondary.
In Rome, engineering was never an isolated profession. It was state policy. The amphitheater. The most advanced technology used in building the amphitheater was not mechanical. It was organizational. The amphitheater required social permission to act without restraint. It required acceptance of human cost. Building for eternity carries a cost. The amphitheater required immense human suffering. Roman builders did not ask whether such a structure was necessary. They asked whether it was possible. Once the project began, it advanced relentlessly. Materials arrived on schedule because supply networks were enforced.
Every monumental structure is the sum of its decisions. In the amphitheater, those decisions were irreversible.
Over time, the amphitheater surpassed the intentions of those who commissioned it. Its original.
The amphitheater stands as an unfiltered expression of Roman values, preserved precisely because it never attempted to justify itself.
The amphitheater was not designed to be reconfigured or replaced. Its rigidity was intentional.
In Roman society, the most effective statements were not spoken or written. They were built.
After centuries of change, the amphitheater continues to speak in the same voice.
The amphitheater represents Rome's final conclusion about power, time, and construction. Power should be visible. The amphitheater has survived not only physical threats, but the loss of meaning itself.
For Roman engineers, stability was not merely a technical requirement, it was an ideology.
Sazazi. Roman engineering was conservative by intent. New techniques were adopted only after extensive validation.
One of the amphitheater's most remarkable qualities is its ability to impose order without supervision.
From a Roman perspective, the ideal structure was predictable. Surprise was undesirable in engineering.
The greatest success of the amphitheater is not how it performed at its peak, but how it performed after. Roman engineers did not assume continuous care for their buildings.
Many structures fail because small defects grow into catastrophic collapse. The repeated use of arches throughout the amphitheater served more than structural efficiency. It preserved knowledge.
Roman engineering was built on anticipation rather than reaction. The amphitheater reveals a mindset that.
The amphitheater's endurance reveals a critical Roman belief. Presence matters more than use. A building did.
The amphitheater's endurance is rooted in its prioritization of structure over surface. Interstace. Roman builders did not design for ideal use. They designed for ordinary use. People would rush, linger.
Every structure must manage energy, weight, movement, vibration, and force.
Above all, the amphitheater reflects a long view of time. Roman engineers were not. The amphitheater was never built as a romantic gesture or a symbolic experiment. Roman
Uniformity is often mistaken for monotony.
Architecture dictated movement. The structure eliminated ambiguity. This enforced compliance, reduced conflict, and maintained order among massive crowds. Few buildings survive prolonged misuse. The amphitheater did. Over centuries, it was.
The amphitheater survives not because of a single brilliant feature, but because endurance was engineered as a system.
The Romans understood that human memory is fragile.
Traditions fade, skills disappear.
Roman engineers designed the amphitheater to function without dependence on constant oversight, repair, or reinterpretation.
The amphitheater does not blend into its surroundings, it dominates them. This dominance was deliberate.
Fragility was unacceptable in Roman construction at this scale. Any system that failed suddenly was considered a liability.
The building stands today as the physical expression of a civilization that prepared for everything.
Roman engineers did not assume that their buildings would be protected. The amphitheater was designed with the expectation that heavens.
The amphitheater maintained order even when no authority enforced it. Long after officials vanished and
the amphitheater achieved something its builders may not have fully articulated: unintended immortality.
Roman engineers did not expect their work to be explained by future generations.
Predictability was a Roman advantage. The amphitheater behaves today as it did when new. Loads follow expected paths. The amphitheater functioned as a permanent lesson in Roman order. Citizens learned hierarchy by sitting.
Violence was not an unexpected condition in Roman life. Earthquakes, riots, fire, and human conflict were assumed risks.
To modern eyes, the amphitheater appears overbuilt. Walls are thicker than required. Supports are
sprints. Roman engineers did not design the amphitheater to follow taste or fashion. Style was irrelevant.
The amphitheater embodies Roman discipline in its purest form. Discipline not as obedience, but as preparation.
The amphitheater was engineered with the assumption that future users would not understand it. Roman builders did not expect.
In the amphitheater, stone replaced law. Rules were not written, they were embedded.
Roman engineers did not design the amphitheater with the possibility of reversal in mind. Once built, it was never meant to be
One of the amphitheater's most powerful qualities is its indifference. It does not respond to
Once completed, the amphitheater represented a decision that could not be revisited. Roman engineering.
Authority in Rome was not meant to feel exceptional. It was meant to feel normal. Even after centuries of damage and loss, the amphitheater still feels immense.
Roman engineers did not assume continuity of empire. They had witnessed republics fall.
Ultimately, the amphitheater reflects a civilization that sought durability not only in buildings, but in identity.
Consistency was one of Rome's most underestimated strengths. The
Roman engineering achieved greatness not by ignoring limits, but by respecting the right ones: human labor, material strength.
From a Roman perspective, was not synonymous with. Symbols fade when belief changes. Structures remain when belief disappears.
The amphitheater ultimately reveals the Roman method in its purest form. Anticipate failure.
By remaining physically dominant, the amphitheater forced continuity upon the city. Each generation had to respond to.
The amphitheater exists because Roman civilization did not build with mercy. Not mercy for labor.
The amphitheater was built with no concern for how it would be judged. Roman engineers did not seek approval from future generations.
The amphitheater resists being reduced to a single explanation. It is not merely an arena.
The ultimate measure of Roman engineering is not how perfectly a structure performs when new, but how it behaves when everything else fails. Modern societies possess superior tools, advanced mathematics, and powerful machines, yet lack the conditions that made this structure possible. The amphitheater is Rome's verdict on history. It declares that power can be cast into stone.
Risk management lies at the heart of Roman engineering. The amphitheater demonstrates a systematic reduction of
Today, the amphitheater no longer hosts crowds, enforces hierarchy, or stages spectacle.